Right, let's go for a little drive. And yes, that is a robot. Key on. Oops. Forward, reverse, low and high speed, I think that is. And I'll turn it off. There you go. Whee! This is fun. This was one seriously nice buggy. These are no longer made. They're made by a company called Batricar, and they date from the same era as that old Jaguar. And oh, it feels nice. Let's go for a little drive. There we go. Now the batteries I've got in it are actually the same ones I used in that lawnmower you saw at the beginning, so they won't get me very far. It actually does need new batteries. But, oh, I found a high-speed switch. Oh, there we go. Whee! Power! Well, that certainly bombs along happy. And, oh, I'm enjoying this. This is a really nice buggy. Of all the electric buggies I've ever driven, and I've sold a few on eBay that other people have given me, this is by far the nicest. It's much bigger than the modern buggies. Hope the wind isn't too noisy. Make sure there's nothing behind me on the road. And let me zoom along here. And hello. Let's see what this thing can do, shall we? Now remember, the batteries are quite small batteries. They're not. They're quite diminutive compared to the size of the vehicle. And let's see if we squeeze through this gap here. Yeah, no bother. Now let's take it off-roading. Now, it's given to me by a friend. I'll tell you the story. You see that label there, Stuart's Bikes? He buys bicycles from the police auctions, you know, the ones that get handed in and don't go back. Well, occasionally he gets things like these electric buggies. And because I do electrics for him and favours for him, he, as a return payment, he gives them to me. And this will be the third one I've sold on eBay, but it's not a modern buggy. Now look at this hill. Oh, no problem. And the brakes work, because I let off the handle, I heard the wheels lock. And I mean, this is a local obstacle course that the kids use. Now, I won't go down there because actually I know that and I'll end up grounding the chassis. It's not meant for things like this, it's meant for the pavement. But, you know, it's having absolutely no trouble at all dealing with it. Ploughing through the bush. Munch, crunch, bang. I'm going off-roading in an electric invalid buggy. Now, I need to be sensible about this. I'm going to... Oh, the forward reverse switch is very stiff. I need to... I will end up grounding the chassis if I go any further. So I'm going to get off at this point. And oh, the back's fallen open. Well, there you have it. I'm going to line it back up with the gap in those trees. And let's see if I can get it back out. Now this is the thing with an electric invalid buggy. You can actually manually walk them if you have to. Now I didn't intend to get it stuck, whoop, but I'm worried about damaging it, so I'm going to work it out by hand. Because but look at it. It's quite big, isn't it? Much bigger than what you'd find the modern, even the luxury modern ones aren't as nearly as big as this. This is really is the Bentley Continental of invalid buggies. Now there is a missing front hubcap. It should look like that. Should be 4 of those. It's actually 3. And let's go carry on adventuring. And there we go. Gonna take it easy. This is a local kind of BMX bike type thing, and I'm taking it easy. That's me going slow, that's not it. There's some very stiff ridges there that would actually ground the chassis, but down here these are much smoother. But again, look at this. This is a very steep hump here. Goes over it, no problem. But now if I take my hand off the power, I can hear the wheel slipping as it skids down the hill. So the brakes, however this thing controls at speed, definitely in good order. So no, this came from the police auction. He's actually got the contract, I think, from Reading Police, because he's so efficient in his operations. Reading Police no longer put their stuff on auction. Then he gets first pick of it. Stuart's Bikes, and he gets first pick, and then what he doesn't take then goes on the auction. But I'm pushing this vehicle beyond what it's meant to do, really, and I weigh 18 stone. So, you know, if it can cope with me in these conditions, it'll cope with anything. And but again, I'm being very careful with it. Not least because I've got these piddly little lawnmower batteries in the back that are no way are meant to be big enough to power it. You saw that little yellow thing at the start. It's actually the battery out of one of those. And but now I'm having a funny. Obviously, you can regulate the speed with the trigger, but there's also a switch, so you can switch it for indoor use. And I think also there's a knob. Let me try something. Yeah, that's it. You've got a kind of slow speed as well as fast speed, so it won't run away from you when you're driving it. Run away from you when you're driving it around Waitrose, and being careful. That's the Dorchester bypass there, by the way. The road that we came up on used to be the main road through the village, but they put a bypass in the 1980s, and that's what you see there. And all of the traffic used to go from Oxford to London via that particular route. Used to come thundering through our little village, so they put a bypass in. Well, these batteries are bumping along all right, and doing thoroughly good account of itself. Now let's see if I can do some more off-roading and go through here. Easy does it. Power on. Woo. Yeah. Now there is a damper, a kind of hydraulic damper thing, and it's gone very stiff, so I've taken it off. So I'm driving it without that damper. And but it's only a refinement. It's not essential, and I'm driving it perfectly happy without. And but again, it's a refinement. It's something they didn't have to do. They did anyway because of well, basically, literally, this is the Bentley Continental of mobility buggies. I hate that word, invalid. Apologies for using it. And or maybe it should be the Range Rover of mobility buggies, because basically it's proving unstoppable through here. I've just been careful not to ground the chassis, but no, it seems to be amazingly coping absolutely fine. Off we go, put the power on. Whee! Oh, there's a den in there. Oh, would make an inviting mobility buggy garage. But let me show you the old road. Let's plough through here again. As it hauls 18 stone of me through the undergrowth. Here's the old road here. and trundling along. Yeah, I just noticed there's a bad connection on that switch. If you wiggle it, the buggy goes faster. So there is that switch has got a back. But again, me using it will free it. It's at Stewart's, and it obviously hasn't been used for a long while. In fact, so obviously the switches are a bit tarnished and whatnot. But you probably end up replacing them anyway, because look, it's obviously spent a lot of time parked in the sun, and it's all faded. And that mirror has swung round. It should actually be giving me a rear view, and it was swung round so I could fit it in the car. And well, I mean, how long have I been trundling around on my little lawnmower battery? I don't even think the tyres are pumped up. So let me find somewhere to turn around. There we go, Dorchester-on-Thames racetrack. Very popular with the bikers. When it was built, they put an overtaking lane down the middle, a chicken lane they call it. But as you can see, the road is actually S-shaped, and what was happening was having an overtaking lane in the middle of an S-shaped road that both sides could use. Turned out to be a very bad idea. There were some fantastic crashes. So of course the bikers love it, because they can use the middle lane and they can overtake each other going in opposite directions. So there's a cafe up here called the H-Caf, and used to be called Harley's, but I think Harley Davidson must have had a word. So there we go. Well, I'm trundling along absolutely fine on my underinflated tyres, and well, I don't know if they're underinflated. And you see there, that's a monument to a biker who didn't quite set out on this road and never made it to the other end, bless him. Rest in peace. But yeah, it's an S-shaped road, and it's a very long, very shallow double S-bend, so it sweeps one lane and it's one way and then it sweeps the other. Even after they filled in the middle lane and cross-hatched it out, some of the bikers would hammer down here. They wouldn't have left enough stopping time for the blasted roundabout, and they'd go over the roundabout at 1,000,000 miles an hour. That led to a few accidents. So the council actually filled in the middle lane and put a central reservation in. There goes another one. But there it is, Dorchester-on-Thames racetrack. Now I need to keep an eye on a battery, because remember, it's only that tiddly lawnmower thing. And I might end up having to walk it back, which is where I put my hand on the... no, I'll go up here. I can do it up here. Here it is. Here's Dorchester-on-Thames bypass. And as you can see, it's curved. What a dumb idea. Now I'm going to flick this beast into reverse. I'm going to go home, because I must admit, I am actually a little bit worried about how long the batteries will last. So, flick it into forward. And the switches, those switches are getting easier and easier to use as I operate the machine. But that there is Dorchester Fishing Lake. We used to have gravel extraction years ago, and the caveat on the planning permission was that when they took the gravel out, they would turn it into a lake. But yeah, there's a nice view of the famous Dorchester bypass. Famous for bikers anyway. But yeah, having an overtaking lane in the middle of a curved road really did turn out to be probably the stupidest idea on the planet. They really were some almighty pile-ups on this road within months of it opening. So they had to cross-hatch that in. But they say there's a cafe, the H-Caf, look it up, at the end of this road. This is the original road I'm on now. They cut it down. What they did was they got a machine in which punched holes in the tarmac on half of it, and that let the trees come up, and the other half of it was turned into a cycle track. And it's my very own special facility for the testing of electric mobility buggies. And so at Stuart Bikes there, if you need a bicycle, you know who to go to. And Stuart's Bikes has an electric vehicle to offload, comes to me, and just get past these cyclists. I think I'm pointing the phone downwards, makes for some very boring filming, and there we go, another biker. Woohoo! Morning! Yeah, very popular with the bikers. But you do see people overtaking. You'll see somebody, it's nearly always a BMW or a Range Rover, and out there they are on the crosshatch bit, overtaking any... Right, let's go for another trip. I was worried earlier about my little golf buggy batteries running out. Turned out the real problem was the mobile phone. Mobile phone battery went flat, so I've got this little booster pack that I've been plugging it into. And so let's hit the gas, or rather the electric, and go for another drive. And trundle around on this grass. Now, there we go. Well, there it is. There's the machine. And let's go once again onto the road so I can talk about it. And again, our drive is very steep, and it has no problem stopping or starting, going up or down it. And you see there it is there. And switch it to fast mode. Well, now banging along in 8 miles per hour. Oh, got a game on. Oh, very, very summertime here, definitely. Crashing and banging over the bumps. Let's keep an eye on my little lawnmower batteries. Oh, that's very pretty. And stay outside the bounds of the cricket ground, which means going behind here, squeeze past that plank. Oh, getting bumpy, slow down. There you go. No problem coping with the bumps. Now, I weigh 18 stone, so it's doing, if it can carry me, it can carry anything. Let's go this way. I'm assuming this white line isn't part of the cricket ground, and I don't do cricket, it's complicated. I prefer simpler things like engineering and nuclear physics. And woohoo! Happy doggy. Yeah, blessed to live in such a fun little village. And bombing along a little playground onto the flat bit, and I'm actually headed for one particular place, actually, which is why I'm going this route. Trying to bang the vehicle on that steel post. That will fine. Oh no, we're not fine. My charger, my mobile phone charger first. Oh, I see the lights work. Yeah, the lights come on in high speed mode. Off we go. Now I must reinstate that wing mirror. Obviously I took that wing mirror, it's been loosened off and swung in to facilitate getting it in the car. It does fit in my Prius actually, it fits quite absolutely fine. But I'm going to go Ross racing down here and give a severe test of my little lawnmower batteries. And I was pointing out earlier, they're battery lawnmower batteries. They're not proper batteries for it, so they're tiny, but they're coping well enough. And there's a lake in there. All busy stuff. And oh, it's Thames water. There's more of those motorbikes. And yeah, for all you Batricar of Stroud mobility buggy fans out there, this is a treat. And a treat for me too. And a couple of passers by. Now we're level with the road here, we're level with the bypass. Now let's see how well this thing copes dragging 18 stone and me up the hill here. Definitely slowing down. Yep. Batteries are sagging, but that's because they're little batteries. So if these can cope at all, then they'll be absolutely fine with the big ones. See, it's quite a steep drop down there. We're climbing up onto the local motorcycle racetrack here. I mean the local bypass here. And we're up on the bridge now. We're up at we're high up here. I mentioned this road earlier. There you go, look at that. Look at that bloody motorbike. Sorry about the French. But this is the S-shaped road I was commenting on earlier. And this bridge, sadly, only goes to the local farm. It doesn't actually carry the road over the bypass. It only gives access to a local farm. But there it is. You see again, it's curved. That truck, incidentally, PD Hook. He's a friend of Stuart's because they're farmers, and he's the biggest single owner of chicken farming in the whole of the country. You see his trucks everywhere. But look, here we are. Now the buggy is stopped on a steep hill. Now let's go down here. This is really demonstrating the limits of what is essentially a pavement buggy. I'm going very carefully, gently does it. Gently does it. Now I pick the speed up and come off the power. That's it lowering itself down by itself on the motor. There's your local bus going. So on a steep hill with 18 stone of me on it, it lowers itself down slowly, but only anything less. There is a brake on it actually. It's a metal disc brake, but I don't even know if it's adjusted. And here again is the original road that used to go through here before they built the bypass. And there we go. And now it goes up through there as a footpath. Oh my neck! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! They motor along there. It's scary. Absolutely scary. Now, talking of scary, I wonder will my little lawnmower batteries take me up here? Here we go. This is really pushing lawnmower battery technology to the absolute limit as a fat guy gets carted up a 1 and 3 hill. Oh, the chappie there. Look at this. Wow. Actually made short work of that, actually. And there's a pedestrian just gone past, so I'm going to go the other way, back to the top of the bridge. Now I'm really impressed with this thing, actually. And of all the buggies I've processed from Stuart to sell, this has been by far my favourite. Really is the Bentley Continental of mobility buggies. And there's another biker coming down the road. Look at that. They say they use the bit in the middle as an overtaking leg, and there are lots of people around, so let me turn round. And off we go. Now it's a nicer sounding motorbike. So there you have it, Dorchester Racetrack, bypass. They say it used to be an overtaking lane until they cross-hatched it in. And the bikers, oh dear, don't the bikers half like to play on that little bit in the middle? little bit in the middle. Oh, we're really thundering down here now. Oh, the old whizzy motor is really carrying us along. Public footpath, no horses. Oh, that's a very, that's typical of our village, no horses. Well, there it is, there's our village. And, well, chuffed with that. Didn't mean to give you a tour of the village on the buggy, but I need to go past these guys or get these guys past me. And but yeah, definitely solar panels. This is a great little thing. It's probably from the 1970s, and I mean, it's usable as it is with probably a little bit of attention, but I'm going to put it on as a restoration project, so I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to give any kind of guarantee or anything of because really, but so you'll just have to trust to the engineering that it's going to remain working. And so far, I've been belting around on it. It's been absolutely fine. Mind a steel post, gently does it. Gently does it, and plenty of fine control. He says as it lurches. Oh, mind you, it's dropped over a tree root, that's why. But it's going over another tree root. I'll get it onto the flat. So remember, I'm still a high speed mode, but no, it's perfectly controllable. And so I can creep it along. No, it's absolutely fine. I'm trying to see how slow I can make it go. And let's see how slow I can get it to go. I'm just playing here. Remember, if you're going around Waitrose, and I think everyone here shops at Waitrose, or at least Sainsbury's, and hit the gas. Oh, I'm having a lot of fun with this. Get my mileage in, be the last time I drive it. And, woohoo! Past the cricket crowd. I think I can get round the back here. Oh, supposed to be demonstrating a buggy, but I'm actually demonstrating the life here at our village, and thumping along. Now, the reason why I'm suddenly showing enthusiasm for going down here is I've actually spotted something that I really rather like, and I'll make a beeline for it. And you probably spotted it. It's the camper, Volkswagen camper. That's something else from the 1970s that's cost a lot of money, and there's a sign on it saying, no, I'm not going to paint it. And so that's original paintwork. No, that's definitely no, that's something else from the 1970s. It's worth a lot of money, and but yeah, you could be sat here watching a cricket game, and watching your cricket game. You have your sandwiches in the back. It's got hooks on the back. You can carry a basket, and oh, this is a perfectly usable buggy. I say I'm putting it on as a restoration project, but you know what? I'm just driving around with it. I just put those 2 batteries on it, driving around with it, and the switches have freed up as I've been working. The switches have freed up, and off we go. I can hear another motorbike in the distance. BMW. Woohoo! Again, the real test is going up the bridge and then down that footpath and back up the footpath and down the bridge. Remember, I weigh 18 stone, so my goodness, I can do that with me and it'll move pretty well anything anyway. I actually suspect that when it comes to being really big people, I think that this vehicle would probably be stronger than the modern ones. I don't know what the weight rating is on it. Let me get through here and let me squeeze through here. Hybrid car. We're all hybrids in our family except for the old Jag. That's our son's restoration project. Although his everyday car's a hybrid too, a Prius like mine. There you go. Well, it stops really quickly, this thing. But I am aware it seems to be stopping on the motor. I'm not sure the brake is doing anything. I don't know what the brake's all about. I don't know if it's a parking brake or a... No, actually, I've just remembered what it is. It's this thing. This tiller, and I've just remembered it. That is adjustable. Let's see if I can get this to work. Let's see if I can make this work. I believe this thing here, it's just occurred to me now, and yeah, that brake is stopping me. Yeah. If you pull the tiller back. Oh shit! He ran it into the back of my car. What a twit! Oh, you idiot! Yeah, I've done it again. Wrong switch. Oh, come on. And this is the point he suddenly finds out that the reversing switch. I think I confused the headlight switch with the reversing switch. I clicked the wrong switch, then put the power back on and promptly ran into my own car. Although having said that, that car's done 400,000 miles, and the taxi, the rear bumper was already cracked and held on with plastic bolts because it got hit in Sainsbury's car park, and the guy owned up, and the insurance said it's not worth repairing, it's so old. So okay, I'll just give you some. We'll just give you some money, and you can keep the car. So I did, and so that rear bumper's already had a wallop. So I'm not too upset about running it into again. I'd be much more upset if I run into my mum's car because that's a hybrid as well. It's another Toyota. It's got exactly the same mechanicals as the Prius. It's the Auris, Toyota Auris. Now let's try this brake again. If I take the power off, hang on, it's slowing down on the motor. I'll take the power off, but I don't come all the way off, so it just idles down. Now if I go back up to speed again and then let it idle down, yeah, I can hear the brakes working. Yeah, that's a brake. If I wind that in and put it on, so I'm going now. If I pull it back, you see it slows down? So that's a brake. So that's how the brakes work. So I can cheerfully report that the brakes work. Oh, that's a nice bonus. And so you know it was creeping down the hill. Well, that was just on the motor. If I had the brakes adjusted properly, I could have stopped. And that must be 1 and 3, that path. I mean, it's really properly steep. I don't know if it shows on the video. It's ridiculously steep. So again, this wonderful vehicle has exceeded all expectation going up and down there. And you know, I'm having so much fun on this, I don't need to go home. It's a lovely day, everyone's out. Whoops. Okay. There is a damper, and I've taken it off because it had gone very stiff. But I can imagine somebody, particularly if they're elderly, it can get into might get into a bit of a shimmy, you see, like that. And what they've done, I mean, I'm doing that on purpose, but I can kind of imagine at speed it's starting to shimmy if they're a bit unsteady. And I guess that's why they installed the damper. It's just a refinement. And but I'm having absolutely no trouble without it. And I'll include the damper with the vehicle, but I might even bolt it back on for transportation purposes. But it needs freeing off. I don't know why it's stiff, because it doesn't look rusty or anything. The rod that comes in and out of the damper looks absolutely fine. It's not going rusty or anything. So I'm a little bit puzzled on that one. Oops, I'm being a twit. I'm leaning the thing back and slowing it down. And couldn't understand why I was slowing down. Of course, I was leaning the handle back and it found the brake. Well, there we are, thumping along, choo-choo. or rather whiz, but mess. And this is so congenial out here. I'm going to stop for a bit and just enjoy the game because, oh my goodness. Woohoo! Somebody scored. Oh, windy. So, it's windy. There we have it. I had so much fun on this thing yesterday. I've charged it up again and I'm going for another drive. And once again, it's running on lawnmower batteries. You see that thing there? Got a couple in there. They're relatively tiny compared to the batteries it should have, but they do for demonstrating. In fact, they do remarkably well. In fact, they actually do so well that, in fact, if you don't actually need to go very far, I don't see why you actually have to put expensive full-size batteries in it. You can put little ones in. Depends how far you need to go, really. And just taking it easy. There we go. Off we go. I think I've got the speed knob turned down. Let's turn the speed up. That's better. Another lovely day again. Around 10 o'clock in the morning. And I decided which way to go. Actually, I think I'll go this way. Let's go for a wander. So there we go, lovely morning. I really like this thing. Got a few rough edges given that it's from the 1970s. I see there's a little crack in the top of the what looked in inverted commas radiator, close inverted commas, and a lot of people about on bicycles I see, and of course you don't want a bicycle. This is much nicer. Let's go down a bit further and stuff there. Yeah, there's one there bumping along. Yeah, this is a nice part of the world to live, especially in a day like this. And obviously having the small batteries, the load of the motor has pulled it down into the yellow. And let's go up and off the curb. Let's try something. Curb there. I don't know smack the front of the vehicle on the curb, so I'm going to go very careful. No, it does it. Whoa, whoa, yeah, whoa. I was rather more enthusiastic than I expected. It just romped up it. Oh, that was actually quite scary. I nearly had the thing on its tail. And no, I'd have to be careful there. No, it just went straight off it. That was scary. It went up with such gusto, it bounced the front of it right into the air, and but no, pavement climbing ability is definitely not a problem, and but again, I'm off up here for a good reason. I'm off back to the bridge over the bypass, and apologise for pointing the camera downwards at the road. That must make for some boring footage, but it's because there's people about and I don't kind of like catching them in their lycra, so to speak, on my phone as I'm chatting, and some people are overly sensitive to having any kind of camera aimed at them, so to avoid conflict, as our There's our school playground, and this is the lake. Again, it's all to do with gravel extraction. We had several gravel extraction enterprises happening in the past, probably about the same time this machine was made, and modern housing estate. Not quite as warm as yesterday, but then it is early morning, and see the old cloud, a bit of sun cover. Not quite as sunny. Yesterday was a perfect blue sky, but you can hardly complain at this. And go up the bridge. Woohoo! More people. There's the lake in there. Now I'm going to try something. I've come here today because I'm here to try something. Well, I went down the path yesterday. There's the there it is there. I'm going to steam up here, up over the bypass. Now I think this thing probably has what's called a series wound motor, and the series wound motor, by their nature, will reduce their speed under load rather than just keep adding more burden on the battery. So it'll actually, it's almost like having its own gearbox. Well, here's the bypass again, and trundle our way to the top, and here's quite substantial handrails, and Queensford Bridge, 1982. Yeah, that was it. I remember it being built. I remember the big campaign we had to get a bypass for Dorchester, and this is it. So, what is it now? 40 years old. There it is. Very wide and very, very generous. I hear a motorbike. Very generous design for a bypass. Very lucky to have it. But this is because the other side of series wound motors, when you reduce the load on them, you run away. Now I've just come off the power. But here is a knob. What I didn't realise is that on the back of this thing, there's a disc brake, but the disc brake is controlled by that knob. So let me wind that knob in. Now, pull that back, change direction, power on reverse, push it forward. Hello, friend. Whoop. You all right? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just putting it on eBay, so I'm testing it out. I'm seeing what it can and cannot do. So down here is going to be a test. Right, this is going to be a severe test of that brake, because you see how high we are up there. And now that takes us to road level. So if I pull that back, it stops. Now that's the motor. They apply a short circuit to the motor, and that basically causes the motor to act as a brake. And that's it, just on the motor. But if I pull the lever back, it stops. And no. And it's holding 18 stone on a steep hill, so that's a pretty severe test. And just a bus left, a bus stop. There, I've wound the knob off. It doesn't really need it. It's an overcomplication. I mean, as the hill is leveled out, it stops on its own anyway. There's a... Let's go off-roading. Right, and into the bush. Better not go too far through there, I might scratch it. But actually surprisingly sure-footed machine. And they say this is the old road it used to come through, and before the bridge was built, you see there, the white line in the middle there. That's from the 1980s. So the old road is now a footpath, part of a footpath. And now here's a crazy thing. You see that bicycle rack there? It was originally there. Now they put the bicycle rack there so people could tie their bikes up and get the bus. They spent a fortune on it. Then it turned out that they'd put the bicycle rack on a footpath, on a historic footpath. Now I had absolutely no problem with the people just walking around it. You know, obviously it's not ideal, but it wasn't causing anyone any inconvenience at all. But unfortunately, due to the nature of local councils, the do-gooders had insisted it be moved, so at great expense of the taxpayer, this brand spanking new bicycle rack was dug up and then rebuilt on the other side of the road. What an idiotic waste of money. It wasn't doing anyone any harm whatsoever where it was, and all those people out there struggling with huge rates, and they've got councils who waste money like it's snowed, like it grows on trees. Anyway, I digress. This thing, of all the buggies I've driven, mobility buggies, it's like a little car. It's by far my favourite. It's also the least manoeuvrable. It's got for a mobility buggy, it's got quite a turning circuit. I mean, it will turn round in the width of the road, but some of the smaller buggies will turn around almost in their own length. So it's not the most tightest turning circle of them, but when it's so easy to reverse, you just do a three-pointer, you know, a three-point turn, and just mind the steel post on the gate, creep past it. Because it's leaning over, I've got to make sure the seat back clears it. But yeah, it cleared it. And gently pick my way over all these tree roots. And there's the old playground again there. And off we go. Now, I don't know how far I've travelled, but gotta go a different way. Woohoo! Gotta go a different way, which means going back past here. Yeah, past the post. Yeah, I'm clear. Now, what's the traffic doing? Now be careful. Somebody gliding along in a Toyota Prius, not making a sound. You don't want to drive out in front of them. Talking of Prius, this thing fits in my Prius quite happily, so I can. There we go. Let's go this way. I just didn't want to drive in front of that lot going. There. So yeah, this thing fits in the car absolutely fine. So although it is kind of going to go on eBay as collection only, we can organise having it dropped off. This is one very wobbly cricket pitch. That's supposed to be a smooth curb. Look at that, it's all over the place. I think personally marked out the cricket pitch. Must have had a few the night before. No, that's very wobbly, isn't it? Batteries are holding up, but I have to be careful because, as you say, it's only those tiddly little lawnmower things, and I've been driving them up 1 and 3 hills and whatnot, so I'm going to take it home. And I can see my own tyre marks, so I haven't come the other way. There we go. This is a lovely little village. Definitely suits the mobility buggy lifestyle. And This is probably about the biggest vehicle you can drive on the road without needing a tax or a license or all that baloney. And up here. Now that's quite a steep little drive we've got here, and storms up it fine. And there's the Prius there, it goes on that, no problem. Now back to the workshop and get it back on charge. Yee. Well, there you have it. What a delightful thing. Well, there we go.